naturally in organizations. Friction, confusion, and underperformance. Everything else requires leadership. And
that's great.
So much of what the millennials need to see from you is a clear leadership example. And so it would be foolish, Peter, I think, if people, focus only outward when they're looking at trying to diagnose problems in the organization. The next step in the path of ascent is to inspire commitment. And if there was ever a generation this applies to, it's the millennials, because they're going to need to understand this. But there's a key principle here, and this is a Coveyism. Seek first to understand, then seek to be understood, and then think win-win. Let me just share a real quick story about this. I know that many of you are familiar with the work of Stephen Covey. In one of his books, First Things First, he talked about the power of this. He got a group of college students together. There was about 400 at an Ivy League institution. They were having a debate on abortion. On abortion. And he had an advocate up there who was strongly in favor, and then he had someone who was strongly opposed. And he made sure through the course of this workshop that instead of arguing and demonizing each other, they spent time just understanding each other. So in other words, the first 10 minutes was not arguing. It was simply, okay, so you're opposed to abortion. Tell me why. And the person that was an advocate for it had to clearly articulate all the reasons why that person was opposed before they could move on. And then they switched roles, and then the